What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Minute Channel. So today I have another review for you, and this will be a review for Shazam. So I was able to get into an early screening of Shazam, and I just want to tell you how I feel about it, what I like, what I not like, and pretty much everything about it. So I literally just got out of it maybe 30 minutes ago, so my thoughts are still fresh, everything's fresh in my mind. That being said, I'm not going to discuss any spoilers, so don't worry about that. But if you want me, I can do a discussion sections where I discuss some stuff, but for now I would like to not to, just because the movie's not out yet and I kind of want to see people enjoy the movie before I discuss any spoilers or anything like that. So I might just wait until the movie comes up before I do spoiler talk or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's start with the story like always. So Shazam sits at a very interesting spot regarding the DC universe as a whole. We had many DC movies at this point. It's not the first one on the chain, really. We had Superman, we had Batman vs Superman, which wasn't a success. We had the Suicide Squad, which wasn't a success either. Then we had Wonder Woman, which was pretty good, and then we had Aquaman, which was decent. So we had a good bit of movies at this point. DC is no longer starting anymore. You know, they had practice, plenty of practice, some good, some bad, and some okay. And so let's go ahead and see it. We're in this story, and the reason why I start with all this is because the way, and I mentioned this on my review for Aquaman, the way that DC is carrying out the story is very similar to the way that Marvel does their storytelling, in more fun, entertaining kind of way. DC, a lot of fans will claim that DC is a more darker world, more darker series, but I disagree. I'm a huge DC fan. I'm actually more of a DC fan than I'm a Marvel fan, and I completely disagree with that. Sure, DC does handle more mature content than Marvel does overall, but I believe that overall DC is not a dark universe. There's really good stories there, and not all the stories have to be dark, and this is a really good example of this. Wonder Woman is a good example of this, and Aquaman is a good example of this, and all those three good movies have something in common. So they're good movies. In this case, with Shazam is pretty good, but it's really different the way that they carry storytelling in this one compared to anything else they see, including Wonder Woman and Aquaman, because it's a different kind of story. This is more of a coming of age story. So you have Billy Batson, who is an orphan, well, not really an orphan, but somebody that is trying to find his mother. Actually, he believes that his mother got lost with him, and he was never able to find his mother. His mother was never able to find him, and he's just trying to find his family. And while he's doing that, he's going from foster home to foster home. He landed in this new foster home with new people. He doesn't want to be there anymore. He doesn't want to be in foster homes. He just want to be with his family. So that's what you start with. He accidentally gets summoned by Shazam, the wizard, and Shazam is really at his last time. Like he really just doesn't have a choice at this point. What happens is that Shazam is one of the 7 wizards, and they have a mission to seven or six. I'm sorry, and they have a mission to fight the 7 deadly sins. So he needs to pass on that power to somebody else, and Billy Batson happens to be the one that's been chosen. I don't want to discuss the logistics and everything, because it is really interesting the way that they do and portray all this, but this is something that you should watch for yourself, the way that it happens and everything. And now Bill Batson finds himself being the new Shazam, the new wizard, and he has to kind of learn his powers. Obviously, he's a 14-year-old kid, so he struggles with a lot of different stuff that as a teenager, as a kid, you can imagine that you will struggle with too. Like just trying to be a teenager and not trying not to show off your powers, and just like learning all this responsibility and everything, because he learns. He eventually learns there is a responsibility to his powers. In a sense, this is almost like a Spider-Man story. In some elements, learning just the power and responsibility kind of stuff. And this is a movie about family and about just finding who you are and everything. And this is pretty good. I think the way that the story was written was pretty good, and I think everybody did a pretty good job, kind of just portraying the character and everything. And I'm very happy that they did this, because honestly, DC at this point needed kind of a refresher, and this is a good refresher for the DC franchise. I think they did a pretty good job with this. So I'm going to be giving story a 9 out of 10. I think the story was pretty good done. Things that I would suggest maybe a little bit more on. There was interesting world building here regarding the state of the DC universe as a whole, such as Batman and Superman and everything, and that was really good. But one thing that Marvel does is that they're able to implement superheroes and everything in a much organic way, and DC was just very on your face about it. Hey, Superman's there, there's action figures, Batman's there, they have action figures or whatever, and that was cool. But I think it really missed the mark in there, because Marvel is able to do a pretty good job as far as showing that Marvel is the same universe, and I feel like that's something that DC is missing maybe a little bit more on. But it's pretty good. I really like the story. Right, so let's go ahead and move on with the characters. And Shazam has a lot of characters, not just the main villain and the protagonist, but also all these different family members that they have, and little people they are there, and I like everybody. I think everybody had a pretty good important job to play with the story and everything, and you can see their interactions with everybody. I feel like whenever you're dealing with child actors, you can have either really bad ones or really good ones, and you can think of many examples. But to me, a good ones is something like Stranger Things or the kids that they did the 8 movie and everything. You can see there's just a level of understanding as a child, but at the same time they're not acting like adults or anything like that. They're just having fun. They're just being kids and everything. And I think over the years they becoming better and better as far as like portraying that better for children actors and everything. And I think in this case it was pretty well done. The actors, for example, Billy Batson, when he turns into Shazam, the actor is able to still portray Billy Batson within himself. That reminded me a lot of Big with Tom Hanks, and I was thinking about that whenever I was driving on my way back home, because there's this scene where he steps into these piano keys, and that's literally like straight out of Big. And at that point I was kind of like, yeah, this is the way that a kid who will turn into an adult will act, kind of thing. And I like that. I like that, those interactions that he has with his friends, because there's a lot of parts where he's stuck as an adult and he's talking to his friend who's a kid and everything. And I think that all the interactions is really good. Now the villain, and DC has a lot of really good villains, and I thought this was a pretty good villain for an origin story. But I think that there was a disconnect between what he wanted to do and overall his ambition and everything. So I don't really want to disclose everything regarding the villain, because I think that's something that you should check out. But I really believe that this villain was a little on the weaker side, depending on comparing to other villains. And I don't like that, because DC has a lot of really good villains, but I don't know, for some reason DC is struggling with villains on movies, and that's something weird. It's something weird, because they have so really good villains. Like, you don't even have to rewrite a character. You come it out straight off a comic, and you can find everything you need. So I don't know why they struggle so much with it. DC has characters, big name characters like the Joker and Lex Luthor, for example, and they're like super big villains that are really good. And Shazam himself has good villains too. I just feel like the way that they wrote the character, and just pretty much the way that the character or the actor portrays the character is not as good as it could be. That's how I feel about it. But I think that the rest of the cast did a pretty good job with all the characters they were given. So yeah, as far as characters, I think I will give them a 9 out of 10 as well. I think overall it was pretty good with a pretty weak villain at this point. Not really weak, but I think it just wasn't all there. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next part. Just presentation overall, and this movie, and I mentioned this earlier, it really strays away from DC and the color palette they did. They did the same thing with Aquaman. Aquaman was a fairly colorful movie, especially once you go underwater and you can see all the technology and all the lights and everything. But this movie just completely negates anything regarding the other DC movies. This is just a comedy story about Shazam, Billy Batson, and it's about him. Everything's about him. Everything is about the story, and at no point does it really try to get that DC vibe or anything. Honestly, this was the most Marvel movie that I've seen. Like, like if you ever think of a DC movie and then you think of a Marvel movie, this was more of a Marvel movie or a DC movie. It's just the way it was so colorful. It just had a vibe, and it was a good vibe. They did a pretty good job with that as far as how it looks and everything. Music, it was okay. It had obviously songs here and there, but it wasn't anything special really. I didn't think the soundtrack was amazing or anything like that. I thought it was pretty good. Overall, I will give presentation an 8 out of 10. I think it was fine. It was good, but it wasn't like the best thing ever or anything like that. But it was decent. So yeah, guys, overall, I will give this movie, I think, an 8.5 out of 10 will be good. I think this was a really good movie, and I think you should check it out. I think overall, this was bordering a 9, really, to be honest with you. And I think this is a good step for Marvel. For DC. And this is a good step for them to be able to move forward. I look forward to the Flash movie. I'm a huge Flash fan, and I just want to see them move on from how they stumbled at the beginning. The Justice League, for example, just wasn't good at all. And at this point, you can see them trying to get that essence from DC, and I hope they do. I hope they really do, because I love DC and I want them to do good, and I can see them doing better. Now I'm a bit concerned how this movie is gonna do in the box office. I don't see it really doing amazing. And like I said, the movie's good, but it's no Endgame. It's not Iron Man. It's not Captain America. It's not like that. But comparing these to something like Captain Marvel, I will say that Shazam is a better movie than Captain Marvel. So I don't know. The other thing is that this movie is sandwiched between Captain Marvel and Endgame. They're like back to back. Captain Marvel came out, this movie comes out, and then Endgame comes out in a couple weeks. So I don't know, but the movie is really good. So if you do have a chance, go definitely check it out. This is definitely a good effort on DC as far as how things are going and everything. I definitely believe that this is really good effort, and I think that DC can do really good things, and this is proof they can do good things. I really like the movie, and I will watch it again. This is a movie that I will watch again, definitely. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you expect this movie to go good, bad? Are you hoping to watch this movie soon? Let me know if you're interested in watching it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video here, and if you're new, consider liking or subscribing, and I'll see you next time.